what entails the livestock farming, because there are many categories. There's dairy farming, there's farming for meat, and I can see behind us there are very huge bulls.
Yes.
So take us through this kind of farming that you do here.
So we specifically are a breeding farm for
So, as we've told you, we are going to traverse the whole of this country to bring you stories of farmers. Today, we are just a few kilometers away from Namanga, and we are here to bring you the story of this farmer who is doing amazing things in beef farming. Welcome to K Africa, a channel where we bring you stories of farmers to encourage you to start this journey of farming. So, there's an episode that we did, and the motto of that lady was slain while farming. And I think you are the real definition of slain while farming. I've gotten here and I feel underdressed to go to the farm. So kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
My name is Sintamen Kaitole, and we are at Namelok Farm. We're in Kajiado Central, Matapatu South. So we do specifically livestock farming. That is cattle, sheep, and goats.
Okay.
Yes.
So we are just a few kilometers away from Namanga.
Yes, from the border.
Yes. Tell us your background, kidogo. Is this the place you've grown up in? Is this where you stay, or you just come to farm on the weekend?
This is where I was born and was raised at, and this is where we now do the farming from. So this is our home. Yes. And you're not underdressed. It was an interview.
The matter is we slay and we farm, because farming is a business.
It is. Yes. It is.
So take us through, what do you do in this farm? Like, what entails the livestock farming? Because there are many categories. There's dairy farming, there's farming for meat, and I can see behind us there are very huge bulls. Yes. So take us through this kind of farming that you do here.
So we specifically are a breeding farm we started with Cywolves. Now we're growing into Brahmans and the Fleck V breed. So we're a breeding farm specifically for producing this kind of bulls that are breeding bulls. And we have improved our livestock herd by now introducing AI through the Brahman breed. And today we will be going through some of our breeding bulls here that are playfully fighting there. So here we have pure Cywolves that are up for sale, the bulls. We also have heifers that are usually on sale but are not on sale at this time. We have Dopa sheep and we have Boer goats. And we also have the Fleck V herd and heifer herd. So the bulls are always separate from the heifers. So we would choose from these ones, but these ones have been produced from the stock of herd that we have from the cows that produce them. So these ones cannot be introduced into the herd. So that's why these bulls are on sale. They've never entered any boma, so they've never sired any bulls, and they're breeding bulls. They're pure, 100% pure Cywolf bulls. I think when we go back to the boma, you'll be able to see now some of the heifers and the cows that actually produced these bulls that we have here. We have improved also by introducing a brown Swiss brown Swiss pure bull that has helped us increase our dairy capacity, and that has also helped us increase our kind of experimentation that we do on the farm. So we'd like to know exactly what works on this farm, in this semi-arid and arid area. Want to exactly know what breed works, what packs more meat, what is more dual for this particular land, for us to ensure that we have dairy and we have also beef cows.
Okay.
So we also have a few dairy cows that we've experimented with. We've experimented with Fresians, Ashas, and Asha Fleck V mixes that we purchased just to see the differentiation in terms of dairy production for the Saiwal, the Fleck V, and now the dairy cows that are now being promoted out there, because now we also produce a lot of milk from the cows.
Okay.
So that is also sold. Yes.
So you've said that these ones are up for sale.
These ones are up for sale.
So this particular breed that you're selling, because this is a semi-arid area.
Yes.
Is it a breed that can survive anywhere?
Yes, it is a breed that can survive anywhere. Saiwal came from India, so it survives actually anywhere completely. So as you can see, the bulls here, most of them are free range, so none of them is done zero grazing. And they are pure Saiwal bulls that this farm has been selling for years and years. Yes.
Okay. The type of farming that you're doing here is free range.
Yes.
So I can still buy this bull here and go and zero graze it. It will still perform the same way that it is performing here.
I would not say that it would necessarily perform the way it would perform here, because with such kind of cows, the Saiwal cows, they are mostly free range and they are very heavy. So the sleeping the whole time and not walking might bring issues of joint diseases, adding too much weight, and then now you have sores and everything. These animals that even if you have quarter an acre and you're feeding them, you'd rather just have them walk around and then now put some food and feedlots. Feedlots work perfect for them, but they are not to be closed in into maybe a cubicle per se. Yes, because they become very heavy in terms of beef as they are dual animals. Yes.
Okay.
So we have a few breeds here. Behind me, you can see some of the Saiwals. Saiwals are a breed that was brought from India, and they are very hardy animals. They are also very suitable for arid and semi-arid areas like here. You would find some of the differences that you would see between the Brahman that we've introduced and the Saiwals that we have here. The Saiwals are mostly red. They're mostly red. The Brahmans, you can get a gray Brahman and a brown or red Brahman. But the biggest distinguishing factor is the ears. The ears of the Brahman is very long. As we will go and see some of the cows down there that our first successful AI on the Brahman. We have some cows there that are 7 months, 6 months, some even 2 days and 3 days old. So you will find that the biggest distinctive factor is the ears, and these are also beef animals. And they're very hardy kind of breed, and they're perfect for the semi-arid and arid area. The reason why we're improving into Brahman is because of the beef factor. And they're also very hardy. So they fit into the areas, heat, dry seasons, which are longer than the wet seasons that we're in right now. And they are also dual. They produce a good amount of milk, and the milk that they produce, like the Saiwals, produce a lot of butter, a lot of cheese. So when we get to the capacity of dairy that we want to get to, then we will have a higher price range. If you look at the milk that comes from Kajiado, is specifically picked by dairy brands because of the butter, the ghee, and the fat content. The fat content itself. If you find like when we experimented with the dairy with the Fresians, the milk was much lighter than we were used to. So you would find some of the children would say, "Mimi patie maziwa Saiwal, sitaki maziwa ya nusu." So we call them nusu. So because now they're half breeds and they're not breeds that we're used to here, but you find their fat content is much lower.
Okay.
So in terms of the dairy that you would get is high quality, high fat content. You can make cheese, yogurts, butter much more easily because of the intensity and the high content that it has of fat within the milk itself.
Okay.
Yes.
So when it comes to breeding, you do it here?
Yes, we do it here. We select a bull. So there are calving seasons. So the cows and the bulls graze separately completely. So that you're able to control the breeding and the calving season. So you do not want to have a cow calving today and then now it is now breeding next month. You want to have it at least have a breather to regain its strength, to actually even now have some milk to have it for the dairy and also to have it for the calf, because now we also milk the cows that are calving. And once it actually is calved, like it has been bred on by the bulls, most of the time it cuts off the milk. So now you lose the milk for the calf. The calf has not suckled long enough to be strong enough, and then now you also have a bull now breeding. So we choose a number of bulls that is selected, and it is selected in terms of the history of the cows itself. So the cows, have they interacted with this bull? The history of these cows, are they produced by this bull? No. Have they interacted with this bull? No. Now it is selected in terms of the next calving season that we want. So if we've had very dark red calves the last season, you would find now my dad would select now a bull that is much lighter, or now he would select the Fleckvy to now mix it up. And then now after that, the heifers that are born from this bull will never now interact with this bull. So now we have those records such that the selection process for the bull is taken into account, that we do not have any inbreeding. That is why we're actually selling these bulls, because now these are the cows of the cows that are actually there. So they cannot enter the boma and breed. Neither can they breed with now the same range of cows that are there, because they were produced by some of the bulls that we introduced there. So we now have to actually sell them off.
Okay.
Yes. So we also have some Fleckvy and some Swiss brown breeds here. And you'll notice the Swiss brown is actually black. The one that we have is actually black. We had a pure Swiss brown bull, and it's done very well for our heifers that are producing dairy. One of the heifers it produces actually produces around 6 liters per milking, which is very, very good even during the dry season. And the Fleckvy is distinguished by a white face. So you will find there is a couple of bulls we called Mocorino, because now it has a white face. No way intentionally discriminating against the section of Christians that we have. It's just a quote in quote joke that we have, because now that was the first breed we saw with a white face. And the bull that has now been introduced into the Boma now for breeding is a 50% Saiwal, no, 50% Fleckvy and a 50% Swiss brown. So you'll see it's black, but with a white face. And you'll see some of the cows that Mocorino has now gotten, which is now a Fleckvy Saiwal, is now a white face, you will find. But now when we had the brown Swiss, it actually now got bred with a Fleckvy Saiwal. So we now have the half breed now there that is now in the Boma. And the reason why we put it is because of the height. So sometimes with breeders, when you want to improve your herd, you check the height of your cows. Do you need a taller bull? Do you need a shorter bull? Do you need a longer bull? A bull that packs more weight? A bull that produces more milk? Now that is how you actually improve now the breed that you have of the herd in terms of the needs that you have on the farm. Do you need more milk? Then you need to go more on the Fleckvy Jersey side. If you want more beef, you would go now more on the Saiwal Brahman side. Yes.
Okay. So from that period you've called the in calf.
Yes.
and a calf is born, right?
Yes.
How long does that calf take to become a full-grown cow, like ready to be sold either for breeding or for meat?
For meat, you would start around 1.5 years for fattening if you just are going for meat. Sometimes you would find some companies want very tender meat.
So how long does a calf take to become a full-grown cow, either for meat or for breeding?
So a bull, for a bull, it would take around 1.5 years. 2 years would be best for breeding. For a heifer to be served, it would be between 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay.
Yes. So that is the maturity stage for a heifer now to start calving. Yes. But for a bull, from 1.5 as well. There are some meat companies that I know that specify they want tender meat. So you would start fattening at 1 year or 1.2 years. Just before the 2-year mark, they want it fattened at that time because they believe that meat would be much tender. But these days you find even feedlots would have a specific feed regimen that ensures that the meat is tender. So now that has passed that time. So for heifers, 1.5 years. For bulls as well, to be able to serve would be 1.5 years.
Okay. So we all know that we are in Maasai land, and
Yes.
most Maasais keep, especially cows, for prestige, and they are of course a source of wealth.
Yes.
So in your farm, are they for prestige? Are they for business purposes, or are they both?
As a Maasai, I would say we have to have the cattle. Whether it's being sold or not, it's a good source of income, and also it's part of our livelihood. So Maasai without cows, I think, would be a very big shock for us. So for now, it started as prestige from our generations back, but now we are now doing breeding. And now it is for business. But it also makes you happy to look at these cows. If you look at this bull behind me, look at how beautiful it is, big, you know, and you see this is the work of your hands. It gives you some excitement. You know, I don't know if this happens to other cultures, but I'm excited to see the cows every time I come home. So for now, we're doing it for business, and I think Maasais have always done both. They've always done it for prestige and also business. And it is also a very steady income generating factor in our lives. If you see, a lot of Maasais would wake up one day, if it's time for school fees, mbuzi tatu analipa school fees ya mwaka yote, na hiyo story imeisha na amemaliza kazi ya watoto, na sasa ni kutafuta chakula. You know, it's a very steady income source and a well standard that is stable. The cows will not wake up today and say you're fired. You know, yes, we have challenges like the dry season, we have the foot and mouth, the diseases, but if you plan accordingly, then you find that now it's a very good source of income as well. Right now, some of these bulls are up for sale, and the range is between 150,000 to 250,000. Most of them are pure Saiwal breeds. We have Magic 50 bulls that are Fleckby and Saiwal, and we also have one pure Brahman bull that is remaining. Okay. So that is just the price range, and we accept farm visits. You can come visit, see the bull. So see the bulls, choose a bull that you would like in terms of where your breeding process is at, select, negotiate, and then carry your bull home. Okay. Yes.
So if someone wanted to buy, how would they get you, or how will they get the direction to come to the farm?
Now they would have to contact us via phone number, via WhatsApp, which I think I will share for you to post. Yes. So there'll be 2 numbers that they can use, either voice call. It's available on voice call, and it's available on WhatsApp. And we are also available, we're very much active on TikTok, and we're also active on Facebook and Instagram. If you search Namelok Farm, you will just find our cows there, and you can inquire via message, via Facebook, and via TikTok and Instagram. Yes. So as you can see, we have some of our calves here that have been calved in the last month. And as we were speaking about breeding, we have a few pure Saiwals here. We have our bull that we call Mokorino. I think it's on our social media pages. And some of them that have the white heads have been sired by that bull. It's a mix of a Fleckville and a Saiwal. So, and it's pretty tall, so we chose that one that was actually calved here on the ranch. And as you see, this is now, in 2 years, this is our new stock. But as you can see, these are some sidewalls and flexi mixes. Some of them are pure. Maybe you can go around and see some of them. As you can see, they're under the shade so that they're very young, so most of them just sustain themselves on milk. They've just begun eating some grass, but they don't eat too much too fast. So probably in the next 2 weeks now, they'll be actively feeding on grass. So they'll be actively feeding on grass. So once it's very hot, they find a nice shade, group together, and just lie there until they are now brought back into the boma for milking. Yes. We control the calving season. So we introduce a bull when they're ready to calve or do AI when they're ready to calve. So we know within these few months or within this year, we have this calving season at this time, and we try to ensure that it's just before it rains, or either we have fodder for them so that we do not have issues of feeding in calf heifers that do not have any food. So they just calved when the rainy season has actually come in, and we control the calving. So these ones were actually introduced to a bull, the Fleckville bull and the Steinwall bulls before. So we know exactly what breeds we're bringing in into the next calving season. Yes. So Namelok Farm has grown to improve its breed over time, and we have introduced a new breed into our herd, and it's a Brahman. I think you've seen our first calves that are now 7 months old right now, and we're very excited about them. We have Brahman heifers now that have been done through AI. And we actually brought it out from outside the country, brought in the straws, and they were inseminated and they were successful. We have two kinds. We have the gray Brahman that you've seen and the red Brahman. So we are hoping now, as you've seen, they're much taller, their hind legs are much bigger, much higher, they are packing on more meat because we're now moving into more beef farming, but with also a bit of milk on the side. So the Brahman actually fits into our profile as a farm. These are our newest calved Brahmans that we have successfully done AI for. As you can see, we have the gray and the red Brahman. This is a 50-50 mix because we had AI done, so 100% Brahman straw and 100% Saiwal heifers. So during the AI, it comes a magic 50. So this is a magic 50 Brahmans, and I'm very excited to see them because they're 2 and 3 days old, and they're actually under the shade just enjoying their afternoon before their moms come in, the heifers come in, and they'll be milked. So they will just sleep for a while, rest, and they're just beautiful. They're just looking beautiful, basically. And we're so proud that they have, it's a successful process of AI. As you can see, the ears are much wider, longer. They'll become much longer as the days go by. As you've seen, our grey Brahman bull cows in the fields, they will become much bigger, but now they're just 2 days and 3 days old. And they're just beautiful. They're just resting for now because it's very hot here in Kajiado. So we ensure that they have shade within the boma where they can just lie down and sleep. And they're not allowed to go outside the boma because you won't find them. Once they get a bit of sleep, they just get somewhere shade and they sleep. So they have to stay in the boma until they're able to eat the grass.
Okay. So since you're doing a free range, how many times per day do they feed?
For the cows?
Yeah, these ones, like
the cows will feed in the evening, like when their mothers come in around 4:35 p.m. And in the morning.
Okay.
So for milking purposes, they're separated. So they will be introduced to the mom, and then the cows themselves, the heifers themselves, will be milked. And then now they'll be moved back to now this small enclosure here with other cows, and then be brought back in the morning again for milking. So they'll feed twice, and it's controlled because right now their mothers have a lot of milk. So if they are allowed to sleep with them, sometimes they have they overfeed, and then now they start having what is it called?
Diarrhea.
No, they it's not diarrhea, but it's cow diarrhea. So they'll start diarrheaing just because they've drunk too much milk. So you want to also control how much milk they actually drink. So the cows have to be milked.
Okay.
Yes. So they feed twice, morning and evening. So with cows, you have beef and dairy. So for dairy, we tried to experiment with some Asha Flekvi mixes and the fresh yarn mixes with Asha that would now, we wanted to see how much milk we would produce from those breeds that are marketed as dairy breeds specifically, especially in our area that is semi-arid, so that you can boost our milk and see how much milk do they produce more than the Sariwals we have or the Sariwal Flekvi crossbreeds that we have. So here we're at the Silange area. This is just a water dam, so it is dug down, and this, you can see it down here, this is where the water naturally flows. So this location is chosen because of, this is where the natural water flows. When it rains, this is where it usually just comes around. So this is where we dug our Silange from, and you can see the dairy breeds are just here eating some of the grass. If you see where, that is a Flekvi Asha mix with a white head. It's turning around just to take the shot. Then we have the brown Swiss that we actually experimented with a pure breed brown Swiss on the farm, and we now have its heifer there, and it produces quite a good amount of milk daily. And they majorly don't really move a lot. We chose not to do zero grazing because we do not have experience in zero grazing. We only do free range. So instead of having them in the house, we allow them to stay in this paddock close to the house and close to the water source, and they just feed around, sleep in the shade, and then now they are milked normally twice a day. We tried to milk them 3 times a day, but there was no really much change. You would get now in the middle of the day, like the way now dairy farmers do it, in the middle of the day around lunchtime, 2 p.m., 3 p.m., they milk, and then now in the evening they milk, and the morning they've milked. We haven't gotten such a big difference to make us now milk 3 times a day. So now we milk only twice, in the morning and in the evening, and they produce, some of them even produce 5 to 10 liters, and they are also given a bit of feeds, so they are very feed intensive, let's say. They have to be fed more than the cows that we actually have that are free range and walk farther than they do.
So you've said that you are experimenting on the cows that would produce milk in semi-arid area.
Yes.
I want to believe that now you have some knowledge on the best breed to keep here. Which breed would you advise a farmer who wants to do milk production in a semi-arid area?
I would say the best would be the Jersey. But even the Saiwal and the Flekvis that we're doing on the farm are doing very well in terms of feed intensity in semi-arid and arid areas. Then it would be the Jersey, the Saiwal, and the Flekvi, because they're very hardy animals and they're all dual. So you would not produce that much milk, but you would still have the 5 liters per cow if it is taken care of well. It has the water, the salt, and it also has the natural fodder. And they are not zero grazing also animals. But for these ones that you can see behind me, when we experimented, we discovered they're very feed intensive, which is something we did not know before. We just had the milk production numbers, and we were like, okay, yeah, it sounds good. Inakaa mzuri, eh? Unajua you count money, kaching, and now you come and they are feeding the same amount of fodder that you would give this around 7-8 cows would feed the same amount of 20 cows that would feed on now the feedlots that we have for feeding during the dry area. So it's, when you check the feed intensity, then you would go with the Saiwal, the Jersey, and the Fleckby, rather than the Fresian breeds for now the arid and semi-arid areas.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
So last time we actually had likaru grass. Now we have cinch grass. Now that it's rained, we have this beautiful grass that we'll now use for hay, our hay bales, because when it gets to the dry season in semi-arid and arid areas, you know that once it rains, it will dry up and you need the hay, you need the silage. So in preparation to that, before it rained, we actually planted some of this. And immediately after we sow, now it was drizzling and the rains indicators were there, because now in such areas we have birds. So if you plant the seeds, they come and eat the seeds as food, and then now you do not have the seeds anymore. So these have grown so beautiful and it's so tall now. This is cinch grass and it's very nutritious. So this is what the cows are feeding on now and will feed on later once it dries out, and we now cut it and bale it and make it hay bales now. So this is what we will be having as hay this season, in the dry season now. But we still also have our likaru grass here. I don't know, they're intertwined actually now. So we have the likaru grass still here, and we also have the cinch grass here. And the likaru grass is very nutritious, as you know. It is our indigenous Maasai grass here in Kajiado, and it is very, very nutritious. It creeps down and it never dies from the ground. So it's very good when it rains, it dries up, and even when it's dry, it's very still nutritious as hay bales. And now we now have improved into this beautiful grass called cinch.
Okay. So lastly, looking at you, you're a very young person.
Yes.
You are a youth.
Good man.
Yeah. So what would you encourage? Because I believe, of course, from your articulation and the way you're speaking, you're someone who has gone to school,
Yes.
and you hear farming.
Yes.
So even if the thing that you studied in school does not work out, you have a
Yes.
backup plan. You can farm and you know what you're doing.
Yes.
So how would you encourage the young people out there? Most of them tamakin, I think, in Nairobi and big cities, and they don't have jobs. And they don't want to come to farming because they believe that it's a dirty job, or it's a job for the uneducated, because that is mostly what we grew up knowing, that
Yes.
farming is for the peasants or for the uneducated one.
Now, yes, I'm educated. In fact, I'm pursuing even my master's. So this is a family business. So we were raised on the farm, and our parents, my father and my mother, have taken us through the process of caring for a calf all the way to a mature bull or mature cow, what diseases, what signs. I think I would encourage the youth to go back to farming. Farming is the only thing that produces and produces and produces and produces and produces. Sometimes the conventional jobs might not offer the freedoms that you might have, and the lifestyle that you actually want to have. You know, here we have fresh air, we have fresh water, we have fresh milk. You know, you interact with your community. And yes, I would use, and I'm still using my papers right now, but this would be still my backdrop. This would still be the main thing, that even if I get money from this kind of job, I would still bring it back to the livestock, because this is what I know. So I would encourage the youth to actually go back to what they know. If your parents are known for tea farming, go back to what you know, improve, put your knowledge in it, develop it, because it goes from generation to generation to generation. You're supposed to enter into that generation and improve what has already been created. So the foundation has already been created. So my father and my mother have actually built this herd to a very big herd. So we as children are just improving, ensuring that now we have modernized the records. We have the records of the livestock. We know exactly what diseases are prone to this area. If they move to another boma, we know. So now mostly we're just doing a lot of record keeping, a lot of improvement of breed, a lot of selection and knowledge-based decisions. Because at that time, even around 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, sahiwals were not in Kajiado. They are not a thing in Kajiado. Right now, it's all the red cows. We used to have it's called Enkiteng Sambu. Our Maasai cow that had stripes, black, white, stripes, brown, fully black cows, small short cows. And because of the breeding and the sharing of knowledge among the Maasai community, now you see they've all improved into sahiwals. And now they're now realizing we want milk, and they're improving now into jerseys and fleckvies. And this is because of the younger generation telling their parents now, you know, he breeds but now we need to improve and grow the farm. And that is the reality of things. You're brought into a family so that you can grow that family. And when your children come, they also take over from where you left off, not that they now destroy. So I'd encourage the young people to, yes, get educated, get your degree, get your diploma, get your master's, your PhD, but you should also go back to work and work on the farm. Because right now, if you check Nairobi food prices, if you can produce and you have land, why don't you just produce and have land and now create an income stream that you can rely on, you can retire to, and also just go from what you've seen and what your family and generations have worked on, because now that is what you actually can be raised up to and conditioned to, and it would be easier for you to adapt. If it's fishing, then go back to fishing. And it is not a dirty job. Yes, they poop. You know, yes, you will have to tie them up sometimes. Idungwe, mzikimbize, mwanguke. You know, you might find a few snakes in the bushes, but it's a noble job. And it is not a job that is for peasants. The reason why it was related to peasants is because our grandfathers were not educated. So when they educated our parents, they were looked on as peasants because now our parents would wear the suit and everything, but they're the ones with the money. If you have a job in Nairobi and I have 100 bulls to sell here, who has the money? So it just depends on your perspective. Yes, get your papers, but also agriculture needs to come back to the youth. Agriculture is failing in Kenya, and the youth needs to take it over. We are the biggest population. We need to produce our own food, our own milk, and be self-sustainable. So that is what I would actually advise the youth.
Wow.
Yes.
Very good advice. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for even allowing us to do this interview.
Well,
they have seen the you just
and they're so gentle, you see.
Yes, and they're not attacking anyone. They're just feeding and peaceful.
And they're beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming.
So I'm just doing my calculations here. Imagine getting a bull, keeping it at a free range, and then selling it after 1.5 years at 250,000 Kenya shillings. So now imagine you have 10 of those bulls. Do your mathematics. Thank you so much for watching us. As you say, we always say here at K Africa, farming pays and farming is business. See you at the next episode, and always remember to subscribe and share our content to more viewers.